Welcome to the Resurrection Church podcast. My name is Bradley. I'm the pastor at Resurrection Church in Greer, South Carolina. And if you're a part of the Res family, you know that. But if you happen across this podcast and are not part of Resurrection Church, we welcome you joining us as well. And in the last podcast, I talked about this. We're doing a series right now on what we call our strategic ministry partners here at Res Church. These are ministries, missions, organizations, and missionaries that we support financially and through prayer, both here at home and in different parts of the world. And as we kick off our missions offering for this year, we just want those of you that feel led to give to be informed in your prayerful giving in support of this. So I'm really super excited today to have Tim and Michelle George on the podcast, all the way from Mozambique in Africa. Tim and Michelle, welcome. We're so glad that you're with us.
Thanks. Thanks for having us.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, absolutely. Now, this is true. We talked about this before we hit record. There are a good number of people at Res Church that know who you guys are. But there are also lots of new folks that have never met you. You've visited Res Church and you've shared about your ministry. But a lot of folks don't know anything about that. So let's just start with who you are. And then maybe tell us how in the world did you end up in Mozambique?
Yeah, well, I'll start with how we ended up in Mozambique. But we're with SIM as our mission agency. And when we first went to SIM, we just were kind of open where God wanted us. We told them our gifting and what we wanted to do. And then they gave us a list of countries that needed those gifts, needed those ministries. And we took them each separately. Tim took them and I took them. And then we prayed about it separately, what God would want us. And we both came back with Mozambique as our number one choice. So from that point, we just went with it. We're like, this must be God. And we went with it. We went out and visited back in 2005 and just really was a confirmation from God that this is where he wanted us. We met the team and saw the opportunities and just endless opportunities to minister here. So at that point we went with Mozambique and ended up here in 2007. Well, 2007 we left for Portugal to study Portuguese for a year and a half, and then we ended up in Mozambique in 2009. We arrived in Mozambique.
Yeah, it's hard to believe, almost 20 years on the field. That's amazing. My name is Tim George, my wife Michelle. We've been we're actually hail from Michigan, so a little up north. But our connection with Res is actually through Shell's sister, who's Christy O'Neill. And so, we've got connected just kind of over the years. And you guys graciously took us on as your partners. And so we've been really grateful for that partnership.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think Res Church feels like a family, and therefore we like relationships that not just feel like family, are family. And so I just think it's Jason and Christy O'Neill and your family that we've gotten to know has just been amazing. And we're honored and happy to partner with you guys, and always enjoy when you're in the States and we get to see you. Now you've got a couple of kids in school in the States at university. And as we talked about before, there's a third that's going to be coming to the States to go to university. And so that's, I'm sure, a big transition for your family that you're walking through right now. So absolutely. Well, tell us about what's going on in Mozambique. Like, what are you guys focused on? What's the Lord called you to do there? How's he working?
Yeah, well, our team here, our SIM team here in Mozambique, we're really the purpose or our vision is to make Christ known where he is least known. And so that's why we're focused on ministry in the northern part of Mozambique. A lot of the NGOs, a lot of the religious organization missionaries, the majority work kind of in the south, in Maputo, and a little bit more, in the south. So we, as a team, decided to strategically focus on the northern part of the country, where really very little missions work, or very, very little, development has actually happened. And so our team started in 2002. We arrived in 2009, and we've mainly been focused as a family. Our own ministry has been focused on training and raising up the church leaders that exist here in the country. Some are kind of well-established churches, but many are just like baby churches and baby believers. The majority of the people around us are actually from a Muslim majority tribe. And so almost all of them that we are training and working with are first generation believers. So you can imagine, the challenges with that, just marriages in crisis all the time, just there's no history of any Bible knowledge at all. Some, the Bible actually, we struggle even just to have a Bible in even the local language.
Wow.
And so we work mostly in Portuguese because that is the kind of the trade language of the country. But there's many languages spoken here, and it's probably one of our biggest challenges is just trying to get over the barrier of who's speaking what language and how to communicate well, all of these things. But we run a Bible school here, and it's the only one in the province, the only one in the city where we work. And so we're privileged to just kind of work with all these different churches and train and disciple pastors and church leaders, youth. And so that's kind of our main focus in ministry here.
That's awesome. I love the discipleship focus of what you're doing. And I think about what Paul said to Titus. I left you in Crete to set in order what remains, appoint elders in every city. And that seems to be kind of part and parcel with what you're doing, right? I mean, you're focused on church leaders and training and equipping them so they can equip others.
Definitely. And so we've just been privileged really to see the fruit that has come out of it, just ministries that have come, just extra, like beyond just within the church. But like one of our former students just started a widows ministry. And we have some other students working with like a youth soccer ministry. Have another couple of students who just started like kind of an evangelistic ministry out in a village just out of town. So it's just really cool to not only teach God's word, but then just disciple them and watch them just go out and go back to their villages and to their churches and serve and just continue to do what God has called them to do too. So it's been amazing.
I love that. You mentioned like the language barriers. Can you talk about that some more? Like what is that challenge actually like? And I mean, you said you could encounter multiple languages and trying to figure out which one we're speaking. What's that like? How do you overcome that?
I mean, almost any group, any church you go to, or any group, you almost never can just have one language spoken. So like almost always you're going to have at least one translation. And there's a good chance if you're in a village, probably two. So,
everything takes a lot longer.
It slows, if you're going to speak even on a passage that's like 10 verses, it's going to take a while. And the education level also drops too. But I think one of the things that has been helpful is the Bible school, because you get sort of some of the students who do know Portuguese well enough to do school. I mean, we have had some students that don't speak well in Portuguese either, but just it brings a group of leaders in, and so you can train them in one location and you can, I think, have a greater effect on the broader church rather than like going into it. We used to kind of focus most of our ministries by just going to certain churches and working with them, but there's so many challenges to that. And the main one is language. But then beyond that, you just hard to get consistency. People are farming, and so they're going out to their farms and then they're coming back. So hard to get actual committed people to be at your, the teaching trainings and discipleship type stuff. But at the school, they're coming, they're curious, they're already invested in it. And so it's been a really great way to be able to broadly transform, the bigger church.
Tell us about the curriculum at the school. Like what kind of classes are you teaching, and what's that like? Tell us more about that.
Yeah, well, the first thing I think you might maybe be a little shocked, but the education level is really is another challenge here in Mozambique. We're probably, I would say, 15 years behind even our neighboring country of Malawi, which
wow,
you would probably hear Malawi as one of the poorer countries and maybe least educated, but we're 15 years behind them. So we offer a 2-year Bible certificate, which is, it goes over the course of 2 years, but the level is it's supposed to be at about a 7th grade level. And then we also offer a 3-year certificate, which is kind of supposed to be at a 10th grade level. So we really, actually, it's great because you have to really know the Bible to be able to bring it down into those terms, and to teach it well. And so that's always the challenge, though, right? Is just bringing it to those levels and contextualizing it also. So they're, you're bringing that message and teaching the Bible from maybe a cultural perspective that they'll understand in more ways. So like the spiritual warfare and things like that, we would probably rarely get it in the United States, but in Mozambique, it's a huge part of the African culture and tribal folk religion. So, that's more of a major focus here for us, and how to deal with those kinds of things.
We also teach a lot of basic classes because of their level. So we teach like a class on marriage and family, and we teach a class on like just basic finances and how to keep your finances in order, and health and hygiene, just things that they struggle with here that you wouldn't in a normal Bible school learn maybe, but they're things that they don't even realize the Bible cares about health and hygiene. So sometimes we had one lady who said her most influential class at the Bible school was the health and hygiene class. And she said it just transformed her family's life because she had no idea that God cared about our health and like how we treated our bodies. And she said she changed a bunch of things in her family, and her kids were healthier. They weren't having to go to the clinic all the time for sicknesses. They were just really thriving as a family just from something simple like that. So we also, teach a lot of classes that are Bible-based, but are more just daily life skills.
So you're both teaching in the school?
I am not teaching. Yeah. So Tim is doing a lot of teaching. I am doing various things with the school, helping out, but I don't teach because of homeschooling my kids. That's pretty much full time for me. So sure. I don't work there teaching all the time. I help with special events and different admin and that kind of thing, but not the actual teaching.
I have another family that we work with. So like there's a Brazilian family that's here. And so his name is Roger. So he's kind of my right-hand man, and we kind of run the school together.
Okay. So how many teachers in the school?
Probably have 15 or 16 like that. regularly teach classes. And then for our 3-year program, we have probably, it's just, there's a lot of people that we invite in. So it just varies that part, because they'll come in, teach a class, like an intensive class for a couple of weeks and then leave. But we have probably about 15 or 16 like regular teachers. And of those, 10 or so are Mozambicans. And the majority of those Mozambicans at one point were also students and graduated. So they graduated, and then we've kind of continued discipling them, continued investing in them, kind of the guys with the really good character that really grasped everything. And then we kind of note those guys, and we'll bring them back, and we try to get them into the classroom and start teaching right away.
Awesome. And how many students do you have currently?
Currently, we have probably, in our 2-year program, there's probably about 30 to 35. And then for our 3-year program, we have probably another 10 to 15. So about 50 students kind of on a regular basis. Every year we graduate a class, and a new one comes in. So.
And you said earlier, you're 20 years on the field. And how long have you been doing this Bible school, or how long has it been established?
Yeah, we arrived in 2009, but the school didn't start until
2018 was the first
the opening. The 2019, we started teaching.
Okay.
Our school year is a little bit different. We start in February, not in September or August.
Okay. And how many students have come through? So you said 19. So that's been.
That was our sixth.
I think we have 6 graduations.
We have 6 graduating classes.
And about 20 a year, probably average.
Yeah, about 20 to.
Yeah, so maybe about 120 students have graduated. Yeah.
That's so awesome. So awesome. Just to think about the impact of that, and one family at a time, one church at a time, one church leader at a time. I mean, that's amazing. So what are some other challenges that you guys are facing right now? How can we be praying for you guys? How can we pray as missionaries, your family, and then also for the school and the ministry there? What are some specific things we can be praying with you about?
Well, I'll give you a couple for our family, and then Tim can maybe give you a couple for the school. But specifically for our family, as Bradley said, like we'll be going back in December and dropping our 3rd one off to start at university there, and then coming back with just our youngest, Journey, and she's 14 right now. So she's still got about 4 years left of school, and she'll be on her own for most of that. So that's our big, I think, just the transitions of Callan moving back. Thankfully, she has her brother and sister already there, and so she'll have family she's going to. Plus, our parents are both in Michigan, where she'll be going. So so she'll have family there, but then Journey will be coming back with us on her own. So that's just a big unknown for us right now, how she'll do totally on her own. There's not a lot of kids here her age. The Mozambicans at this age a lot of them are married or getting married. And so it's really difficult to maintain friendships as you get older, as they're all having families. And then her missionary friends, a lot of them have moved away and left. So just for our family as we're transitioning for Journey and Callan specifically, and then us as we parent them through that. But yeah,
that's a big transition.
Yeah, huge. For ministry wise, I would just say mostly for the students, just that God would continue to do a work in their lives. And I would maybe add on to that, especially like in their marriages.
Yeah.
I think when we first started doing ministry, kind of pre the school, like that was kind of a lot of our focus, because we just saw how the church was just struggling in the marriage, with good biblical marriages. And so that's always kind of been a passion of ours, but then it's carried over in the school as well, and so, if they go back to if they do school and they go back to their churches and their marriages aren't healthy or growing spiritually, then that's, just nothing's going to happen. It doesn't matter how much biblical knowledge they have; it's just easily will fall apart. So I would just specifically pray for that. And almost no one has a good model in their family. And so
Wow.
that's just a huge challenge just to get over it. I just can't even imagine. Like, I mean, I can always point to at least a few in my own life that I can, oh, wow, they're good examples, but they can they almost have zero people that they can point to. And so, yeah, I would specifically pray for that. Also, just we're trying to make the school accessible for the students here. So our tuition is around like $5 to $6 a month. Well, no, it's
$6
$6 or $7 a month. Sorry, not five.
Wow.
$7 a month or so.
Wow.
But the government has a sneaky way of like they raised their minimum salaries by about 10% every year, which is kind of crazy. Like if we raised our tuition 10% every year, it would be almost impossible. So we're just trying to balance that and figure it out. I mean, by far, our biggest expense is just paying like our security salaries, just for just have guards on the property, which is kind of what you have to do. And so, just kind of basic funding and things like that. God has always provided, but it's always kind of a prayer request of ours. And then just the continued development of professors. We actually just sent our first professor down to a conference in Maputo. He's the first Mozambican professor that we've done that with. So we're excited. He's been a great professor for the school and just been a great guy to work with. So we're excited about where that might lead for him and just his development and his discipleship as well. So just I think those things are the biggest things. We also have some new missionaries coming in next year, possibly 2 singles. So that's a big answer to prayer. So that's a praise.
Awesome.
One from Brazil and one from the UK. So yeah, so that's a praise, but they also have to raise funds. So that would be maybe another prayer request.
Sure. That's awesome. I love that. I love the stuff about marriage because I mean, Mary, my wife and I do a ton of premarital counseling. And I always tell couples like, one marriage can affect multiple generations. Like the work that you guys are doing as a whole is amazing. And then that challenge of couples not having a model to look to, but you guys are there and you guys get to talk to them about marriage and you get to teach them from the scriptures and your own experience. I just think that's phenomenal. The impact that is making and will continue to make. So we love that. Well, I just really appreciate you guys coming on, and it's truly an honor to partner with you guys in prayer and in financial support as well. We just love what you're doing and continue to pray for you and want to be a resource to you guys in any way that we possibly can. And when you get home, I say you're home now, but when you come visit the States, again, we'd love to see you guys, if that fits into your schedule. So
we definitely will be there.
Yeah, we will.
We're very appreciative too. Just to have those partnerships, people praying, people interested. It's a lifeline for us too. So
it really is. Yeah. Couldn't do it without our partners like you. So.
And you have an open invite. If you ever the church ever wants to send Bradley and his wife over to do a marriage seminar,
Well, one of my deacons is monitoring this podcast, so I'll let him take that to those that approve expenses. No, I seriously, I'm going to come. We've just got to make that happen. I want to come and see what you guys are doing there. And a trip to Mozambique is a big commitment, but we definitely need to make that happen. Well, Res Church, thank you for joining us today. And As I said last time, all the information about how to give in this year's missions offering is in our e-blast. We'll also be talking about it on Sunday morning. We just encourage you, as you listen to these podcasts, give as the Lord leads you, and we're gonna have such great joy to be able to disperse these funds to people like Tim and Michelle George, who are doing the Lord is using them to do such great work in Mozambique. So Tim and Michelle, thank you for joining us, and we're going to be praying about all these things that you've brought up today, and we're honored to support and partner with you. So thanks for joining us, everyone. Absolutely.
Yeah, bless.